friends, it's Miss Pugz reporting to you live from my bedroom. I officially got a desk, so now I'm able to record our book club sessions at my desk as well, which is really nice for me because sometimes sitting on my bed, I feel a little too far away and I'm not sure how the audio sounds to you. I filmed our book session yesterday a different way. I filmed it from above the book and I asked my students how they liked that, and I got a 50-50 split. Some preferred being able to see me because I think we're not in class anymore, and some preferred being able to read the book. So this way allows my students to be able to see me, but it also allows my students that like to see the illustrations a better look at the book because I'm not as far away. So we'll vary it. We will sit on my bed, we will sit at my desk, we will sit in my kitchen, and we will read it all different types of way. But today I figured, why not sit at my new desk? Hope that's okay with you all. We are back for another session of the one and only Ivan. If you are following along, we left off on page 71. It says Stella helps. The last thing we read, just to recap, was Stella saying that, Ivan, it will never, ever be okay, and I know enough to stop talking. I asked my students what they think Stella feels and why they think she feels that way, and most of my students believe that she is upset that Ruby has been chosen for this life that they're living, and she wishes that Ruby could either live in the wild or in a zoo that is humane and treats animals with kindness. So let's see if they're right. I hope that they're right. The men are still yelling. Some of the yelling is at each other, but most of it is at Ruby. We hear scrambling, pounding, shifting. The side of the truck shudders. I'm starting to like this elephant, Bob whispers. I'm getting the big one, Mac says. Maybe she can coax the stupid brat out of the truck. That is not very kind, Mac. Mac opens Stella's door. Come on, girl, he urges. He unties the rope attached to the floorbolt. Stella pushes past Mac, nearly knocking him over. She rushes as best she can, limping heavily towards the open back door of the truck. She catches her swollen foot on the edge of the ramp and winces, which means like, ow. Blood trickles down. Halfway up the ramp, she pauses. The noise in the truck stops. Ruby falls silent. Slowly, Stella makes her way up the rest of the ramp. It groans under her breath, and I can tell how much she is hurting by the awkward way she moves. At the top of the incline, she stops. She pokes her trunk into the emptiness. We wait. The tiny gray trunk appears again. Shyly, it reaches out, tasting the air. Stella curls her own trunk around the baby's. They make soft, rumbling sounds. We wait some more. A hush falls over the entire big top mall. Thud, thud, step, step, pause. Step, step, pause. And there she is. So small she can fit underneath Stella with room to spare. Her skin sags and she sways steadily as she makes her way down the ramp. Not the greatest specimen, Mac says, but I got her for cheap from this bankrupt circus out west. They had her shipped over from Africa. Only had her a month before they went bust. He gestures towards Ruby. Thing is, people love babies. Baby elephants, baby gorillas. Heck, give me a baby alligator and I could make a killing, meaning he would make a lot of money or a lot of profit. Stella ushers Ruby towards her domain. Mac and the two men follow. At Stella's door, Ruby hesitates. Mac gives Ruby a shove, but she doesn't budge. Doggone it, get a clue, Ruby, he mutters. But Ruby isn't moving, and neither is Stella. Mac grabs a broom. He raises it. Instantly, Stella steps in front of Ruby to shield her. Get in the cage, both of you, Mac shouts. Stella stares at Mac, considering. Gently, but firmly, using her trunk, she nudges Ruby into her domain. Only then does Stella enter. Mac slams the door shut with a clang. I see two trunks intertwined, which means it's almost like they're holding hands. I hear Stella whimpering. Poor kid, said Bob. Welcome to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan. I'm going to stop there just for a quick second. Wow. Stella is almost like a mother figure to Ruby now. They instantly bonded with one another because they look the same, and I'm sure Stella and Ruby were able to find a common place together that they felt trust instantly. And she's able to provide that to Ruby in a really scary place, and maybe Ruby will be able to provide Stella some type of support. I still feel really bad that Ruby's here though, and you can tell that Stella does too. Page 75, old news. When Julia comes, she sits by Stella's domain and watches the new baby. She barely talks to me. Stella doesn't talk to me either. She is too busy nuzzling Ruby, which means holding her tight. She is cute, little Ruby, with her ears flapping like palm leaves, but I am handsome and strong. Do I hear a little sense of jealousy from Ivan? Bob trots a circle around my belly before settling down in just the right spot. Give it up, Ivan, he says. You're old news. Julia gets out a piece of paper and a pencil. I can see that she is drawing Ruby. I move to the corner of my domain to pout. Bob grumbles. He doesn't like it when I disrupt his naps. Homework, Julia's father scolds. Julia sighs and puts her drawing aside. I grunt, and Julia glances in my direction. Poor old Ivan, she says. I've been ignoring you, haven't I? I grunt again, a dignified, indifferent grunt. Julia thinks for a moment, then smiles. She walks over to my domain, to the spot in the corner where the glass is broken. She slides paper through. She rolls a pencil across my cement floor. You can draw the baby elephant too, Julia says. I bite the pencil in half with my magnificent teeth. Then I eat some paper. Julia still loves Ivan. 77, tricks. Even after Julia and her father leave, I try to keep sulking. But it's no use. Gorillas are not, by nature, powders. Stella, I call. It's a full moon, did you see? Sometimes, when we are lucky, we catch a glimpse of the moon through the skylight in the food court. So sad. I did, Stella says. She is whispering, and I realize that Ruby must be asleep. Is Ruby all right? I ask. She's too thin, Ivan, Stella says. Poor baby. She was in that truck for days. Mac brought her from a circus, the same way he bought me. But she hadn't been there long. She was born in the wild like us. So now we're learning that Ivan was born in the wild. We knew Stella was, but we weren't sure about Ivan. But now we're learning a little bit more about him as we keep reading and learning about others. Will she be okay, I ask. Stella doesn't answer my question. The circus trainers change her to the floor, Ivan, all 4 feet, 23 hours a day. I puzzle over why this would be a good idea. I always try to give humans the benefit of the doubt. That's very kind of Ivan. Why would they do that? I firmly ask. To break her spirit, Stella says. So she could learn to balance on a pedestal. So she could stand on her hind legs. So a dog could jump on her back while she walked in mindless circles. I hear her tired voice and think of all the tricks Stella has learned. I think Stella's seeing a little bit of herself in Ruby, and that's maybe where all of her empathy comes from for her. 79. Introductions. When I wake the next morning, I see a little trunk poking out between the bars of Stella's domain. Hello, says a small, clear voice. I'm Ruby, she waves her trunk. Hello, I say. I'm Ivan. Are you a monkey? Ruby asks. Certainly not. Bob's ears perk up, although his eyes stay closed. He's a gorilla, he says, and I am a dog of uncertain heritage. Why did the dog climb your tummy? Ruby asks. Because it's there, Bob murmurs. Is Stella awake? I ask. Aunt Stella's asleep, Ruby says. Her foot is hurting, I think. Ruby turns her head. Her eyes are like Stella's, black and long-lashed, bottomless flakes fringed by tall grass. When is breakfast? She asks. Soon, I say, when the mall opens and the workers come. Where? Ruby twists her head in the other direction. Where are the other elephants? It's just you and Stella, I say, and for some reason, I feel like we have let her down. Are there more of you? Not, I say, at the moment. Ruby picks up a piece of hay and considers it. Do you have a mom and dad? Well, I used to. Everyone has parents, Bob explains. It's unavoidable. Before the circus, I used to live with my mom and my aunts and my sisters and my cousins, Ruby says. She drops the hay, picks it up, twirls it. They're dead. I don't know what to say. I'm not really enjoying this conversation, but I can see that Ruby isn't done talking. To be polite, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Humans killed them, she says. Who else? Bob asks, and we all fall silent. We're going to stop there today. Actually, let's end on a little bit of a positive note. Let's read one more page. Stella and Ruby. All morning, Stella strokes Ruby, pats her, smells her. They flap their ears, they rumble and roar, they sway as if they're dancing. Ruby clings to Stella's tail. She slips under Stella's belly. Sometimes they just lean into each other, their trunks twirled together like jungle vines. Stella looks so happy. It's more fun to watch than any nature show I've ever seen on TV. This is the two of them. We'll stop there today. That's on page 82 if you're following along. And before we wrap up, because we don't have much more time, I just want to talk about something that's really important about this book. Some of the pages in some of our sessions have a sad undertone to them, and that's just what it is. A topic like this is a bit controversial because some people don't recognize that animals have feelings, or some people don't believe that animals really care about their treatment. Obviously, this is a fictional book because we're not able to know what gorillas are thinking, and we get to hear it from Ivan's voice. But we learned something very interesting and very sad about Ruby today. She had a mom and sisters and cousins that she used to live with, and she confided in Ivan and told him that humans killed her family. Now, we don't know how they killed her. It may have been an accident if we want to give humans the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's bad people in the world, and they do bad things, and they do bad things to animals. And I know my students love animals dearly. And I think this book, even though some moments may be sad, I think it's meant to teach us a really important lesson. But I'm not going to tell you that lesson. I want you to tell me. So think it over. What lesson could this book trying to teach us? We're almost a quarter way through it. We should be seeing some type of theme. So let me know. Comment below. If you're in my class, remember to fill out the Google Forms because it's something that brings me so much joy to see who's following along still with this book that I really, really love. And if you're not in our class, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Miss Pugz with a Z to find out what's going on in my online classroom and my in real life classroom. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified when we have a new video up. And leave a comment below if you would like to let us know what your theory is on what this book is trying to teach us. I'll see you tomorrow.